In this video, I'm gonna talk about some simple presentation tricks which you mostly wouldn't heard before. This video is gonna be a discussion more than a tutorial, so sit back, relax and get ready to learn something new today. What's going on fellas, I'm Geo and this is Geo Creations. You can find me on Instagram as GeoJerwin. Let's jump right into the video. Let's start from responding to some of your suggestions. First one, Srividya asked to make a video on line drawings of plans and section for competition presentations. Alright, like academics or real life projects, competitions have very less boundaries and often less time. Talking about line drawings, it requires more attention on line weights and clarity, so we need to achieve this with lesser time and with maximum clarity. What I suggest is, don't concentrate more on line weight. Let me explain. I don't know, for some reason, vector drawings have a hard time with Photoshop. I had this experience like spending hours in setting the right line weight inside AutoCAD, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it. Instead, you can use Adobe Illustrator to fix this. Don't panic, you don't need to have any experience on Illustrator to do this. Also, I suggest not to use AutoCAD while doing competition work because you can take any amount of 2D drawings from your 3D software itself. For instance, I'm using SketchUp here. Set the style as hidden lines to get this 2D effect. This is one of my recent academic work, which is a time problem on a renovation proposal. I'm introducing a section plane here. Set the camera to parallel projection and align the view. You can also draw dotted lines inside SketchUp by changing the line type of the respective tag. Let's export it as PDF and now let's bring it into Photoshop. As you see, the line weight got lighter. You can make a bunch of copies to make it darker. But still, it's not a reliable solution. Let's keep this non-destructive. Now, this is a small object. When you double click on it, it opens on your PDF viewer. Here's the trick. We're going to change your default PDF viewer as Adobe Illustrator. Right click on a PDF, open with, choose another app, select Illustrator and check this box over here to set it as default. Now let's go back to Photoshop and double click on this thumbnail. Now our drawing is open in Illustrator. Just select all, increase the points. 5 points works fine, and now just press Ctrl+S to save it, and now you can see our drawing in Photoshop is automatically updated. You can also play with different line types and line weights. I advise to use a solid hatch and 1 or 2 line weights, not more than that, because usually they don't expect any detailed drawings in a closed jury. Most of the competition brief expect just a conceptual drawing because the jurors ain't got time to surf through all your details. Also, you can play with different types of techniques. For instance, you can show your wireframes like an X-ray vision by taking a wireframe style and reducing its opacity. You can also introduce some bunch of guidelines and stuffs. Sky's the limit, you can explore your own creative ways. I'm thinking of creating a video discussing exclusively about competition sheet presentation. Stay tuned by subscribing to the channel. Let's move on to the next suggestion, which is from Ononto. Sorry if I mispronounced. His suggestion is about conceptual diagrams, or we can call it as supportive diagrams, which makes the presentation more narrative. What I suggest is to keep your presentation in mind before starting your modeling. You can show your form development as a part of your concept, or you can create a narrative with supporting graphical elements which further conveys your concept, composition and presentation. Most importantly, it helps you to explain your design in a better way. SketchUp can be used to create a bunch of simple models which can support your presentations like I've used here. With the power of Photoshop, you can easily break the rules. Here for instance, I just wanted to show that it's a cube. I used different shades, but it's not accurate. The shades does not work like this in real life, but it's not necessary to follow that anyway. The goal is to get out of the box and create stuff that conveys your message easier. You can create a narrative with breaking down your design into different parts with similar diagrams, which also makes it as a good composition element. Or you can use some good old-fashioned sketches. This is a very effective technique if you are near your deadline. Deadlines are actually the source of creative and smart work, not gonna lie. Here you can see that I've used some basic sketches to create a narrative. I've used a vacuum tablet for this. If you don't have one, don't worry. Take a white sheet and draw your thing. Now take a snap, make sure to avoid shadows, bring it into Photoshop, increase the contrast or use the threshold adjustment layer and change the blend mode to multiply. It eliminates the white area for you. If you want a white drawing, just convert it into a smart object and press Ctrl plus I to invert it. By clicking on this I button, you can find more of these kind of presentation tips and tricks. Last but not least, I also want to talk about renders in your presentation. No matter what render engine you use, it can be Lumion, Enscape, V-Ray or whatever. Photoshop really gives you an upper hand in truly taking that in your control. Let me explain. This presentation is solely dependent on this render at this side. This image helps to communicate without speaking a word. 75% of this work is done in Photoshop. The people here is the most important element. It shows the culture, the activity, and it helps to trigger emotion, which is a combination of color grading. Here I've used orange and teal, the composition, the human activities, their costume, and the way you drive the eyes using hierarchy and leading lines like this. Leave a comment if you want me to do a breakdown video on this render. You actually don't need a bunch of renders just because you can take out a bunch of renders. One or two powerful ones can do the job for you. Not judging other techniques, I actually used to take a bunch of renders. It all comes down to personal choices. If you have better ideas, the comment section is wide open for you. I really appreciate your views. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, leave a like and be a part of this community by subscribing to the channel. Signing out for now. Catch you guys in the next video. See ya.